Hi everybody, it's Cindy the Scrapologist. Thank you once again for coming back to my channel. I must be feeling better because I actually have some brain power today. I was actually able to do some math for this project and come up with some creative ideas, so I think I'm feeling better. um, I've been wanting to do a gatefold album for a while, and this is a scrapbook album that I did years ago, probably more than 5 years ago. And it had some issues with it. I wasn't totally happy with it, so I didn't end up putting it in my shop. And actually, my brother is getting ready to get a motorcycle, and he wanted a mini album to document his all of his trips. And although this is a bicycle, it says life is a beautiful ride, and so I'm going to gift this to him when I'm done with it. But so it's a gatefold album, meaning that the cover opens like a gate. And a couple things I didn't like about this. One, I was trying a new kind of cardstock that was supposed to be gray, and I'm not sure if it's coming across on whatever you're watching it on, but this ended up being really having too much blue in it for me, which I didn't feel matched with what I was going for. I shouldn't have used it. So I wasn't happy with that. It's also the way it's put together. Sometimes if you don't get these pages and these pages in properly, then you end up not being able to close it. They kind of catch, and it ruins some of the edges. Like I think if you put it in this way, it kind of catches, yeah, and it doesn't really close. So it's just a little too stuffed. But what I like about it is that I did make it with file folders, and now that I'm doing junk journals too, I've really been wanting to do a junk journal using a lot of the old scrapbook mini album techniques that I used to use, that I still use. I still make scrapbook albums. This one is 9 by 12. It's huge. So it's way too big for a journal. So I did some math this morning, and I'm going to make this with you. I don't really know what I'm doing. I haven't done this before in this size, and it's over 5 years since I did the other one. And I have a different style now, different techniques. So, but I did prepare the measurements ahead of time. But for the rest of the videos, this is going to be a multiple video tutorial. For the rest of the videos, I'm just going to be kind of winging it as I go along. So I already cut the cover for the album, and it's going to be a 9 by 6 album. So I cut it out of heavy duty chipboard. I don't make my mini albums and journals out of cereal boxes per se. I like the thicker chipboard. It's actually the same chipboard that this is made out of, and once it's covered, it's just super sturdy, and you can see after just 5+ years it's really stood the test of time. So I do prefer the chipboard. This is not the kind of album, you can't make a gatefold album out of an existing book cover because you just need this piece and then the two pieces flip over. So I guess you could use a piece of a book, but you would still have to make the cover flaps, the gatefold flaps. So I'm making the whole thing out of chipboard. This piece is 9 by 6. And then the gatefold part that's going to go on the top, each of these pieces is 3 by 9, so you need 2 of those. And then I'm thinking that this is going to be a good width, but I might change my mind once I put it together. These are the spines, and these are 1 inch by 9 inches. So these are going to go here, and it's going to end up looking like this. And we're going to glue the whole thing together, or actually in my case tape the whole thing together like so. And that's how we're going to do it. And so I keep my shipping envelopes whenever I receive anything. And I had a couple of strips that I thought were big enough. Yeah, this will work. So I'm going to cut this down to 9 inches. Sorry, I have to cut off camera. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so these ended up being how many inches? 2.5 inches by 9 inches, and you need 2 of these. So let me move some of this stuff out of the way. I prefer double-sided tape. I've found, first of all, I'm terrible with glue. I just make a mess with glue, and I don't like it. It doesn't like me. So and I also found I've been selling my mini albums and journals since 2004, I think. I don't know. I don't know how long I've had my Etsy shop, but I've never had one returned or anybody say this hasn't lasted. And I have some on my bookshelf that I made for myself, and this stuff lasts forever. It's Suquang brand. You get it from Scrapologist. So I really prefer this. So I'm just going to quickly put some of this on. And this is when I like to use my cutting mat and just line it up. Kind of try to center it because it doesn't have to be exact. Okay, then we'll do this one. So I haven't decided on the inside if I'm going to do actual hinges like a mini album or do more of a junk journal technique. I could sew in some signatures on either side. I haven't thought that far ahead. We will discover as I make it. We'll figure it out together. Okay, and I do always like to burnish this just to make sure we get a good stick. Now, let me tell you a little rule of thumb. Whenever you're going to have something that, whenever you have well, let me do it this way. Even if you're just going to have a regular cover, there's a general rule of thumb as to how much space you need in here. The easiest thing for you to do is you need to have enough space so that this is going to fold up without, see, if you have it too close, then it gets in the way and it doesn't fold up. So the general rule of thumb is you need this at least the thickness of your chipboard. So what I do, this is the simplest thing, is you just put a piece of chipboard, similar chipboard in there, and push it up against, and that's how much space you need. Okay? So what I'm going to do is just put a little pen mark there for myself. Oopsie. I need to flip it around. I'm not I'm not good going to the left like that. Actually, we can just use a ruler. So that's about 1/8 of an inch. And I'll just go down through and do a line. Well, actually, I made it a little bigger. That's okay. We're going to do 1/8 of an inch because you just need at least the width of the chipboard, but you can make it wider. So let's just go with an eighth of an inch. That's a good rule of thumb if you're making a slip box for yourself, how to put all the cardboard together so that it joins really nicely. Just make sure it's at least the thickness of the chipboard. Okay, and let's get some more tape. I'm going to use 1/4 inch for this. This is 3/8 inch, which is my favorite size, but I also have 1/4 inch. And you can totally use glue. Use the adhesive of your choice. So my past few videos I've been whining about how tired I am, how sore my hands are. I'm not going to do that to you today. Figured enough of the pity party. Actually, the reason why I'm not whining is tonight is Friday night and tomorrow's Saturday night, and I actually have 2 nights off in a row without a gig. So I get to have date night tonight with my husband and kind of have like a normal weekend. So I'm happy. And I get to have an entire weekend in my craft studio without interruption. So life couldn't be better. I also like to use my board to just line these up too, just to make sure that the bottom edges all line up. Because my chipboard is not necessarily always cut perfectly evenly, so I just like to line it up. Oh, I am totally not paying attention. Undo. Time for undo. What a dork. I was supposed to put this piece on. Let me try this again. I'm just talking away, taping. Okay. Let me let that dry, so I'll put this piece on. I hope if you're following along you didn't just make the same mistake I did. Sorry. That's the problem with winging it on video. Maybe I shouldn't wing it. I'm being really particular with making sure this lines up on the line along here. Whoopsie. Didn't stick down. Okay. All right. Now I need to put more tape on here on my little boo-boo. Hopefully this is dry enough. That undo sometimes takes, yeah, it's not dry enough yet. Sometimes it takes a little bit. So this is what we're going to end up with. So we have our 2 pieces, one goes on either side, the two spine pieces, one goes on either side of the large part of the book. We're going to put it together like this, and let's put this on while the other piece dries. Again, line it up on my mat. Okay. This Tyvek is super good for holding your hinges together. So there's our first one. Let's see if this is dry enough. Yep. There we go. Perfection. Burnish, burnish, burnish it. Just make sure that that tape is really on there good. Got a little tape sticking out there. Not that it really matters, but there we go. Ooh. My right hand is still quite tired, so I'm dropping things and I don't grip really well. It was numb all night last night, which is not a good sign. I know I should be slowing down. I should not be crafting today, but now what I was going to do is I was going to cover this in some old sheets, but I don't think I have enough. Don't think I have enough material. Oh, so close. So close. Well, so there it is. There's our gatefold. And it's going to be 6 by 9. Get over there. It'll be better. It'll be better once you've got it all together and got stuff inside of it. It doesn't hold together very well until you finish it. And there's the spine. I do like the 1-inch spine, and it's got plenty of room for stuff inside. Okay, so the next step is I am going to find some old sheet material. I like the cotton sheets, and I'm going to glue it on the book. Just slap glue all over, put the sheet on, but it's got to be longer and wider because it has to wrap around, and then paint it. Paint the sheet. I think that's what I'm going to do. I don't know. So there's our cover for today, and in the next video we'll decide how we're going to cover it, what kind of material. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.